Right now, Raghad and I are walking to a banquet. I don't know how I was able to convince her to come because my mom and my sister...
It took no convincing.
I don't know why. Basically, my mom got tickets for me and my sister, but my sister last minute wasn't able to come. So I was like, oh, Raghad, do you want to come? And I was like, she's definitely going to say no. Like, why would I go? What's the point? And then she was like, not only did she say she was going to come, she said, sounds fun. It was honestly the craziest plot twist ever.
Dude, where are we going?
I don't know. I mean, the whole point is just to see someone walking and follow them, but I don't see anyone else walking. It's officially fall. Well, it's been fall for a few weeks, but you know when you look out the window and you can just tell something looks different? Why am I the one leading? I don't think Why are you the one leading? I don't know where we're going either. I had Raghad drive. I'm just the passenger princess in this moment, so I'm just walking where she walked, but neither of us know where we're going. And we're walking towards this venue, but it looks too small because it's kind of like a big banquet, and like Omar Suleiman is speaking, so looking forward to that. You know when you look out the window, and because this weather's so beautiful, when you look out the window and even though you can't feel the temperature, it like looks different. That's what yesterday morning felt like, and the joy, the sheer joy I'm experiencing now that the weather's getting nicer is awesome. We're going away from the venue? Yeah. I'd love to hang out on this grass.
I want to go anyway.
Oh, really?
Little more? That's good? You want chicken as well?
No thanks.
No chicken?
No, our time is perfect. They're just about to start. My last match. Yes, please. And no green beans, please.
No beans? No beans.
And yes, please.
I have pumpernickel, and then I have white.
White, please. Thank you.
I will start with recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha and the translation, and with that, we will open our program. He is the founder and president of the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research, an internationally respected scholar, teacher, and advocate for justice. Dr. Omar Suleiman has been at the forefront of interfaith work, coalition building, and the fight for civil rights. Wow, now I know what it feels like to have someone standing right there. I did not. No, that's what I do for everybody else, but now I understand.
In an age of superficiality, people crave authenticity. In an age of falsehood, people crave truth. If you remember that and you ponder upon it and you reflect with those that you love, then inshallah ta'ala, you will recognize that while the time that we live in is a great tragedy, it's also a great opportunity. You know, people come up to myself and come up to others like, how do we deal with everything that's going on in Gaza? We've been doing this for over 700 days. Over 700 days. It's hard to zoom out when you're doing that for 700 plus days. But when you do zoom out, you can recognize that in the midst of tragedy, there is opportunity. And I don't mean that in the sense of exploitation. I actually mean that in the words of the people of Gaza themselves. That will tell you that not only are they looking forward to the reward that they have been promised by their Lord, but they recognize the unique positioning that they have in the world today. And Khalid Nabhan, Ruh al-Ruh, may Allah have mercy on him. Ruh al-Ruh, when we spoke to him before he was killed, one of the things that he said, and subhanAllah, I'll never forget this, he was asked, what do you want us to do for you? And he said, do for us? I'm translating. He said, we don't want you to do anything for us. Allimu nas tawheed. Teach people the oneness of Allah. Teach them about faith. We are struggling so that you can spread. We're going through this and we're giving you an example, a textbook example of what faith looks like in practice. Teach the people about who we are. Of course, we should be trying to end the pain and the suffering and the oppression. That is our prerogative, that's our imperative. Whether they ask that of us or not, Allah commands us to do it. And there should be no, scapegoating or abdicating our responsibility and saying, it's okay, Allah has promised them paradise. Yes, Allah has promised those who are unjustly killed and those who are accepted as shuhada paradise. Allah has promised the shuhada paradise, but that doesn't mean that we should not be doing everything that we possibly can to make sure that the world is not a living hell. That's on us. Allah will do His part. We have to do our part by the permission of Allah. We will do nothing without the permission of Allah. I'm not minimizing the real pain that they're feeling. I'm saying that there is a moment here, an opportunity for us to deeply reflect together as a society, as a world, as to what's actually real. One of the things that has happened in the oppression of our brothers and sisters is that Gaza broke all international norms. It exposed them for what they actually were, which were not international norms, but international tools of suppression that gave you the facade, that gave you the disguise of civility and justice and upholding some sort of standard of human rights in the world. And that's now all been shattered. And what you're noticing is that people are taking a step back and they're questioning not just the international norms that they were fed, not just the so-called American values that they were taught, and many people saw through those way in advance of this, but they're questioning everything that they've been taught. And everything that they've been taught to believe is an orthodoxy, because what was sanctified before clearly has been shattered. There's an energy that's felt in that insecurity, right? Where you feel like you have to say what's palatable, where you have to say, what you think the other person wants to hear and not how you actually feel. And that's not actually conducive to the type of da'wah, to the type of intervention that we're supposed to be having. By the way, Malcolm X of Hajj Malak al-Shabazz, rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the things that he spoke about, and I'm paraphrasing this, but some of you might remember this when he said, tell them how you really feel. Right? Tell them how you really feel. Don't sit there and pretend. Tell them how you really feel. Because you can't actually heal the wounds unless you speak to the pain authentically. And there is a premise, by the way. We're having this discussion, right? This entire time that we thought that as long as we're good, decent American Muslim citizens, everything is going to be okay. Our neighbors are going to love us, our colleagues are going to love us, and then that's going to be the way by which we protect ourselves in the long term. That's not entirely a false statement, by the way. We should absolutely be our best selves. As doctors, as professionals, in whatever field that we are in, we should absolutely be our best selves. But let me tell you something. And I'm just going to be super, super real here. Okay? You all know that when the Charlie Kirk assassination happened, Muslims did what they always do. Talked about this yesterday, right? We hope it's not a Muslim. And for our state as a community, I want you to reflect on this. For our state to be so fragile, that if we do everything right as a community, as institutions, and move things forward, it's hinged upon no one else doing something stupid and unraveling all of that goodwill in a moment. But we all know that that's where we are right now. And that says something. So it can't all be built on goodwill. Some of it has to be protection. Some of it has to be a show of strength. Some of it has to be أَعِدُّ لَهُمْ اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. Show them your strength. Some of it has to be putting up your protection. Some of it has to be expressing what your guardrails are. Some of it has to be a stern defense, not just of your community, but of other people that are unfairly treated as well, like your community, and saying, no, that's absolutely unacceptable. We don't care about how fragile your imagination is due to the propaganda you've been fed. And by the way, while we're talking about political violence, how about we talk about a genocide that you've been funding and enabling, and put the empire back on its heels and have the audacity and the courage to actually challenge, not just protect yourself, and say something's actually wrong with the way that this has been functioning. And not, let's just duck and wait it out and hope that no one ever talks about this. And that things are going to get better. Just go back to putting your head down and being a really good student and being nice. All of that is true. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. All of it is true. But it's not the whole thing. It's a piece of the puzzle. We've got to be willing to do more. And so, yes, speak the truth. Tell people how you feel. Challenge the spaces that you're in. Show the courage to not just defend yourself, but to defend others as well. Be authentic about your feelings, about what you hope to put forward, about your interventions. What they say about the people of Gaza, they say about the people of Palestine. You know one thing you'll never catch them saying about them? They'll never call them cowards. You will never be able to call them cowardly. Because those people embody courage to such an extent that even the propagandists know we can't call the people of Gaza cowards. They're definitely not cowards. That child that stands in front of a soldier that is equipped with the most sophisticated weaponry and does not fear the soldier, generally and genuinely does not fear the soldier. SubhanAllah, on Friday, young girl Hiba, I've talked about this girl. She has one hand, paralyzed from waist down, one arm now that remains. She just came out of a surgery where they had to remove more of one of her arms. And I mean, I've been to the hospital multiple times where you see someone in post-op, they're usually just kind of out of it and stuff like that. She was herself. Someone put up their phone, said, Hiba, what do you want to say to the world? She said, Ana sha'bi lan tamut. My people won't die. She said, free Palestine. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at her, I'm like, how in the world do you still have that? So the point is that it's so authentic, it's so real, that the propagandists know they can't call the people of Gaza cowards. They will never be able to call them cowardly. Right? Because the courage is that self-evident. And that's, you pursue truth for the sake of truth. You live to your values, even if those values offer you no worldly or material benefit. Isn't that who we're supposed to be? That even if this is not going to offer us any type of social or political mobility, we do it because it's the right thing. And so what are the American Muslim truths that are being embodied and lived up to that are independent of any sought consequence as an American Muslim community? These are hard questions we have to ask ourselves, because that authenticity will show. There's authenticity in regards to your relationship with God, the first part of the narration, right? Renounce the world and Allah will love you. And there's authenticity in regards to your relationship with people. I don't want anything from you. You know, subhanAllah, you read the explanation of the hadith of al-ghuraba, and it's so rich. Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib wa 'abir sabil. Be in this world as if you're a stranger or a wayfarer. It's such a rich hadith. And one of the ideas of being a stranger is that we have this methodology in our tradition of understanding things to the greatest extent by looking at the opposite meaning. What's the opposite of being a gharib? Right? What's the opposite of being a stranger? The opposite of being a gharib is to try to take as much of this world as possible, to the extent of greed and to the extent of transgressing, even to get as much of it as you possibly can. The most neutral version of it is tul al-amal, is to have high hopes in this world. But the community manifestation of being a gharib is that you do for people, you do for Allah, and you do for people because of Allah and the hereafter, and not because of anything that you expect to extract in this world. Be sincere. What do we want to do? And that sincerity will manifest in goodwill or courage depending on the moment. Jazakumullahu khairan. I know that Salat al-Maghrib, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, may Allah accept from CAIR. Please do support them. Assalamu alaikum.
We just left the banquet and we're on our way home. Okay, I did enjoy the event a lot. And the main thing they mentioned that I thought was interesting was their advocacy hub. The whole point is to empower Muslims to have significant impacts on government decisions so we can impact laws, actions, and public discourse. And when you're in it, what you do is research legislation, meet officials in your local district, meet with officials in Washington, make calls, recruit candidates to run for office, or even if you want to run yourself, engage other members of the community and write editorial letters for publication. I thought that was really interesting because I've been like looking for ways specifically to be more involved, and then they mentioned the advocacy hub and had like the form, so I scanned it and I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna do this. So I encourage everyone to try and get involved. I think that's how we make more of a difference. The second thing that happened was after the event, everyone and their moms is trying to get a photo with Omar Suleiman.
That was so funny.
Tell them what happened when he was praying Maghrib.
Okay, so first off, they're like, oh, Omar Suleiman, please like respect his wishes. He's not gonna take pictures until after Maghrib. We pray Maghrib. And then obviously some people still trying to sneak in the selfie here and there, but then they've already filled out all the places to pray in the big room. So he and his other Imam friends are like praying in this little corner on their own. The big crowd finishes praying, and so everyone coming out of the big room is congregating around Omar Suleiman. It's just growing bigger and bigger, the crowd, and I can just see him as soon as he says like Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, he stands up, he looks around, he gets so like flushed, and like I can see that he's getting overwhelmed, and then he goes, he's a big guy, okay, he's like 6'2" maybe, okay, he goes, and he starts moving, going through people, trying to escape. But then it wasn't that bad, actually. Honestly, I get it that like he's obviously been asked for pictures the whole time, all the time. But when you're a public servant like this, when you have a public image, like what else can you do? Like it's just, I think it's part of the job. But at the end, and it wasn't even for that long. Again, this was a very small function in my opinion.
A lot of people came pretty sure just to hear him speak, which is great if he brings in people and then they make money that way and they're able to fundraise more. But like they easily could have had a banquet hall like 5 times as big, probably more. Like this was a really small hall. My friend actually did her wedding here 2 years ago. Basically, we were looking over and he's praying Maghrib and there's this guy. Yeah. There was like
So there were like 5 in total. Okay, there's the Imam and then 4 behind him, and this guy is standing in front of the Imam, facing Omar Suleiman, so that as soon as he was done, he was on top of him. Like he was actually like he was leaning above the Imam so he can talk to Omar, asking for a picture. And I was like, oh my god, like he was about to topple over the Imam because he's literally on top of the group praying. And I'm like, there's no, like, where is everyone's dignity? Like, I get it. It's like, oh, you want to take a picture with him. That's really cool. But honestly, like, do you have not a single ounce of dignity left in your body? Like, you're trying to make a fool of yourself and your entire bloodline? Like, it was embarrassing watching these grown adults push each other.
And then we were like, should we even get a photo? Because like it's so embarrassing that like everyone's really crowding him. And then there became like an actual proper line for photos, and we went back and forth like 100 times. And now I'm going to show you our photo with Imam Omar Suleiman. Here's our photo. Tell me if I'm crazy or just like stupid. I learned today that he was Palestinian. I did not know that. I did not realize that was common knowledge. I knew it was Arab, but I knew he wasn't like Desi, but I did not realize he was Palestinian. Like, is that just common knowledge? The whole actual point is that we all need to be more politically involved, and there are CAIR offices all over in the US, and so it's a lot easier to just join another group and then help them with their initiatives. And it may feel overwhelming maybe to like talk to your officials yourself. How many Muslims do you know are in politics? Very few. They're all just doctors. I'll paraphrase the Malcolm X quote, which is that we're not lacking in numbers, we're just lacking in organization. The actual quote, what was it?
We're not outnumbered, we're out-organized.